Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. We're back with another episode of our Seregen campaign, episode 72. We are going live here on this Tuesday evening to get back to it. So let's see here. Who do we have in this party again? I forget.
It's me, the Banewall, who is also Belzian, the half-elf monk. You might not remember me from last time because I wasn't here, but I am actually part of the party and I'm ready to party. Hiya.
Hiya.
I'm Amadeus, and I play Roger May as the Wood Elf Assassin. Wood Elf Assassin? You'd better hope not.
Shade and I, Ulrich the Human Paladin.
I am Jaeger. I play Yarvik Venison Bringer, the halfling ranger whose bow currently has a great hate on for vampires for some reason.
Kill Ulrich. Kill him.
Would you say that they have a hate boner?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Oh, that one hurt. Oh, I
I'm
love
Atomic
it.
and I play Zippo, and that made me want to throw something. Honestly, I'm being just straight up with you. And just I want you guys to know, next boss fight, I might accidentally psychic Lance Roger.
Do it. Do it, you coward.
I think we peaked. That's it. That was the height.
That was the height. Yep. It's all downhill from here, folks.
It's not getting better than this.
So thanks for joining us. Let's talk about what happened last time. So the group has been in a long downward spiral into the Necrata horror show, but they finally almost escaped its impending doom of the Shadowfell lands. So they were down here in Mayoneer on the map, which is the capital of the Vampire Lands, which is actually over here. They entered from over here. So they managed to finish treating with the Queen of the Vampires. Ulrich learned a few things about the vampires, especially because he is now one of them. And the party then handed over some swans that managed to make them stronger. So that was like 2 sessions ago. Now that vampires are immune to daylight or some variation therein, and they said their goodbyes. Had a few things to say left with the queen before they got out of Dodge through a small magic portal, which they polymorphed through using the rat form, thanks to Zippo. So now they are very close to the border with Seregen, trying to figure out, well, exactly what to do next. Whether to go north, west, northwest, some combination of those directions. But ultimately, I think the party unanimously thinks we got to get out of Necrata. So the party did do a long rest last night into the day because we're kind of out of sorts in terms of our marching pattern, thanks to being in nocturnal lands. And the party has just woken up. It's mid-afternoon and ready to kind of discuss that next step. So I'll leave it to the group for that and more here on the channel.
Yeah, so we are good to log our long rest, right?
Yep. Log your long rest.
All right, gang. I think we should get out of Necrata.
I'm not so sure.
Oh?
Our original plan was to make it to the triple point, the intersection of all three lands. And
I'm fine with doing that, but let's do it on the Seregen side. I say we just make a beeline for the border, get into Seregen, and then we can trek northeast and hit the intersection. I'm really, really done with Necrata.
As long as I have a commitment from all of you that we're not going to bail and dash off to Licht, instead of completing our mission here.
I have no interest in Seregen, so
You don't even want to say hi to Marinus?
I wouldn't. No.
Who?
Okay, just checking. Was it Marinus? What's the guy, the guard guy?
Marius.
Marinus?
Also, let's not forget.
Marinade.
Let's not forget. We don't know the landscape of Seregen since we've left, so there may come a point when we're going to need to discuss things with whoever the leader in Seregen is now, because we do still have a pact to fulfill.
Yeah.
True, we could do that to get this pack thing over with. Once we get to the middle.
I'm interested to see what's in the middle, but it's hard to say who the middle actually belongs to. Is it true neutral territory? Or do you think maybe some new strange culture has moved in?
Perhaps. I think mostly it's going to be a convenient place for us to hop across all of the various sides and use these sending scrolls that were given to us to contact the leaders that we know.
Good point.
Yeah, I think that gives us the ability to contact the most parties the fastest.
Assuming that that it even works. I mean, we're not positive that it's gonna travel on the other side or anything like that.
Well, we're not going to stand in Necrata or in Seregen and try and talk to Relic. We'll just walk across the ditch.
See, I see. For some reason, I thought you wanted to stand in direct center and try it, but yeah. I mean, keep in mind the ditch is how wide?
It's the better part of a day's travel, isn't it? I
It's,
seem to remember us crossing fairly quickly.
I believe,
We were
500 feet or so.
No, yeah.
Oh.
The impression.
Yeah, it's
It's been
it's
as with maps and what maps do. It's been kind of exacerbated, right, to prove a point.
it's a few minutes walk. We'll be all right.
It'll be,
Fine.
it'll be okay.
If we post up in Seregen right at the tip, right at the point, we could communicate to the various realms fairly quickly and efficiently, I would think.
Well, if all of you are willing to say that we're not going to go running off in Seregen, and we will complete the task that has been given to us, which is to contact all of the leaders and report back, then yeah.
I think I'm the only one that you would even have to worry about wanting to run back to Seregen.
That's true.
And I'm not hurrying back. I have all the time in the world.
Yeah, Mr. Immortal now.
a new lease on life, huh?
Well, he's for the low price of getting killed, he's now just as immortal as I am.
Yeah, well, we don't all get to win the genetic lottery, buddy.
I just thought of the best idea ever. I'm gonna become a dragon, then have Ulrich turn me into a vampire, then I'm gonna be a vampire dragon.
Well, I was going to say, says the nobleman to the commoner, but I don't think any of us can compete with Vampire Dragon, so I'll just drop it.
Wait. What can vampires become zombies on top of the vampire? It could be a vampire zombie dragon. Let's ponder this while we march.
We only have one vampire with which to experiment, and if we turn him into a zombie, he might stop being a vampire, and that would be less useful.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie. That's a movie that came out last summer that kind of infected the box office, right?
Hey.
Rule 1, cardio.
Oh wait, no, that was Barbie, not zombie, right?
You're thinking of the song that's in my head.
Zombie.
Okay, I got your joke, Jaeger.
What did Jaeger say? I didn't hear him.
Zombieland.
I said
Oh.
rule one,
Oh.
cardio.
I see. There it is. All right. So the party. Oh, actually, that's one other thing I meant to mention as a summary from last time. Jaeger did spot footprints going east from the camp. Small footprints last night.
East.
Um,
Deeper into Necrata?
We
Deeper into Necrata, yes.
we should check our gear and make sure there's nothing missing.
Yeah, we'll do so.
Checking my inventory. Inventory?
Because
All right, go ahead and check your inventory, see if anything's missing. If you'd like,
I never look at my inventory. I wouldn't even know if there was.
if you'd like to make a roll, you can.
for that, since it could be possible that Shade has forgotten something.
My caltrops are still here, fortunately.
It'd be a history check.
Yes.
Or
Or an investigation, one of the two.
I mean, if we get to
better
choose, I'm gonna add 4 to that and make it a 15.
That's fine. Yeah, you're trying to remember
Or
current history.
not a 15, but a 16. Wait, what?
You just won the match, Zippo and Roger, that's all.
Or a 15, yeah.
yeah,
Can't do math.
be part of the cool kids.
I mean, the thing that's helping me out here is that minimum 10. Otherwise, this would be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Oh no, where did all my money go? Just kidding, vow of poverty.
I think.
What are they
think
going to
my,
do? Steal all my silver?
I think my hat is missing.
Isn't that on your head? Or is that just your hair? I thought maybe your hat was hair colored right now.
Yeah, I think my hat's missing. Oh, wait, maybe it's in my backpack. Hold on.
Did you give it to somebody?
Maybe I did give it away. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I had the thing and never used it. Yeah, I might have given it to somebody.
But perhaps it was part of a vampire disguise a few days ago.
Your hat is listed in your other possessions. One cloth handkerchief, when unfolded, becomes a colorful hat. Hat started out as purple with a K on it. Now hat is pink.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it.
It's purple again. It was only pink.
Yeah, it's just written. It's not listed as like another item
Correct,
with like a
yeah.
checkbox or anything like that.
Yeah,
Got it.
Each of you searches your inventory and sees nothing that seems out of place. Yeah, I can say that with certainty. I didn't take anything out of your inventories. You rolled high enough. Even Jaeger.
Huzzah.
Now, if you had failed that check, yeah, something might be missing. Critical 1, you're sure something's missing.
I've counted every ball bearing in this bag of 1,000. In these 2 bags of 1,000, all 2,000 of them are still here.
Well, I mean, I guess the first thing to do in the morning is to get your bearings. So,
Ha
Well, do we care about tracking down that person, or
Only if you need to eat them.
It's a good thought.
I think I can go a
We
little
could
longer.
get
so currently,
yeah, we could get them and hold them hostage for you to eat whenever you're hungry.
So yeah,
No, but then we might befriend them in that time. I think it's better if he eats a stranger. Then we might not.
Just
be
don't
as
talk
bad.
to them. Then we don't have to worry about friending them.
It's like farmers who have the pet cow that they don't eat.
I will also remind the party that Ulrich is the one that has been changed physically, and that will affect his morality. But the rest of you probably still, in some degree, probably prefer probably prefer not to feed your friend people, right?
Oh, I 100% I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Zippo,
good
that's
with
in
it.
character, but
I
I
think
just
I think
remind you
we're
of the
engaging-
conversation at hand.
Yeah, gotcha.
I think the group is engaging in a little bit of gallows humor.
That's fine, but I just want to make sure.
Um,
So Ulrich, what I will remind you from your conversation with the Queen is that you know right now you'll only need to feed once a week. You fed most recently at your turning, so you have some time. You have six days. Well, 5.5 at this point. Since a week is 6 days here in Seregen, or I guess Necrata at this point. But yeah, just clarifying.
Yep. And I play it off as I could just I can go a little while yet.
Okay.
Though Belzy and I did wonder,
Hello.
does blood fall into your veil of poverty?
What do you mean? If I ran out of blood, I would be more poor than ever.
It's just something to keep in mind.
Now I can't think of anything else. Thanks.
Pats you on the back.
He gives you finger guns. Hey.
Finger arrows.
Yeah, exactly. What is a gun?
Finger crossbows. There it is. I guess it would
I
be
mean-
hand crossbows at that point, right?
For point of historical clarity, firearms predate crossbows.
If we're talking about Earth, but we're not on Earth.
Yes,
The
but if
dummies here
we're
didn't
talking
figure
about
out-
firearms as anachronistic, firearms do predate crossbows on Earth.
Mhm.
Right, but again, it's not just anachronistic. It's oh my gosh, mundistic. I don't really have a good word here.
We're on a roll today.
All right. So, I guess the current debate is what to do about the footprints, if anything. Does anybody want to look into more information on them, or are we at a decision point?
Well, what do we know about them? Like, sorry, I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Were they humanoid and they were just going east?
Small humanoid footprints originate at the camp and go east.
I'm sorry, we're still at the camp where Gormir was killed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so these footprints happened a long time ago. Those were from the little girl vampire, presumably,
Yeah.
that we saved. Roger will do scare quotes.
Hey, we did save her. What happened to her after that is
Assuming she wasn't already a vampire, but sure.
I mean, the fact that the Zictor gave me my ship back tells me that he dealt with the situation. She didn't just magically find herself back in our area.
Well, there you go.
Could they be Zictor footprints? Because if I recall, he wasn't very tall.
No,
It is-
these probably belong to the little girl vampire. I'm not worried about it.
well, either
yeah.
way.
The truth is, I don't care. We it's we can get clear of this, and we can figure that out later if we want to. In my opinion,
We'll just keep it in mind.
These
Yeah.
footprints are probably days old, and it's not something we need to worry about.
can Yarvik tell?
Do a survival check. The footprints there are no footprints entering the camp, just exiting. As a reminder from last time, they are barefoot. The footprints that were left were in a hurry, and whatever caused them was scrambling. There's some handprints as well. They were moving in a hurry. They are 2 days old.
I don't think it's worth the time investment to track down somebody that was here 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, consider it my last act of real humanity. Which I think you'll enjoy. Roger, from now on, very practical, precise decisions from me.
I'm going to hold you to that.
I hope you do.
All right. So the party begins traveling northeast. Are we heading directly at the wall?
Yeah, I think the plan, even though I'm being overruled here, I think the plan is to exit Necrata as quickly as possible, which would be basically directly northeast
Okay.
or northwest.
Yeah.
Yep,
Did I say
I think that's
northeast?
the
I
idea.
meant northwest. Yes. Yep. There it is again. It all as the closer we get to Seregen, the worse it gets.
Northwest and then northeast to the center point. I think that's the plan.
All right. Let me let Benji out. I will move things in a minute. Feel free to roll checks for those of you who are making them while we travel.
Ooh, it's perception time, baby. You know what that means? I rolled the 23, which should tell you all you need to know about how good the actual number on the die was.
All right. For those of you making checks,
Obviously a 10.
describe what checks you're making, or like what kinds of things you're looking for.
I'm looking for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got my
I'm looking
eyes
for things.
peeled.
All
Just
right.
general hazards along the road. Things that are going, the creepy crawlies, anything of interest.
Sure.
Just, doing that first in line.
I'm sure to keep eyes on the skies as well as the ground, and keeping an ear out for anything suspicious that might not be visible.
I'm
Okay.
taking a 360-degree vantage point with a laser focus.
I'm doing self-reflection.
You can't do that anymore. You're a vampire. Okay, don't die.
You will note that Zictor did have a reflection.
Still a funny joke.
It was
Thank you for
great
reminding me.
though. Yeah. I was smiling and laughing. Yes. So the party moves forward. Jaeger, you look around for the road to look upon for anything, but find that there is no road, and find yourself just kind of searching for that road. Belzian, you are looking around. We quickly move out of the forest and into the plains. It's pretty clear in the direction that we're traveling. You're not currently seeing anything of note. There are what seem to be figures on in groups to the north and south of the group. One group seems to be heading north toward you from the south. The other is also heading in that same direction, north as well, so away from the party. They're slow moving groups on foot, and they don't seem to have spotted the party. They're just moving in your direction. Yep, that's it.
So, where do you think they're headed? Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my mic muted. They're probably border patrol, pretty much. Like they're just patrolling the border to make sure no one goes in and goes out.
Hmm.
Means they're most likely vampires or related to vampires.
Is
And,
this on the inside of the border is what we're seeing this?
Yeah, down this way and up this way.
Okay, I only have one monitor, so
I see.
you'll have to do that again after I put the window back into focus for the map. Where?
Down this way and up this way. So along here.
Can we discern if they're like a mob of people or like a small group like ours?
A small group like yours. Well, I'll answer that for Roger.
Oh boy, are you ready for details?
yes.
It's a small group like ours.
Oh gosh,
What are we gonna do?
we
Dun,
are incredibly
dun,
formidable.
dun.
Listen,
They also have a crazy sorcerer.
Well, hold up.
Whatever shall we do?
We've got
diplomatic immunity.
well, yeah, but
Or
they
can
might,
sue.
I
they
mean, we
might
are
not
traveling,
be aware that we have diplomatic immunity.
but we are traveling with a vampire. So
It's true. We are traveling with a vampire who can just matter of factly state that that we're headed to Seregen on official business from the Queen.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to avoid these people.
yeah, so I just stride for the border like we own it.
Just walk with purpose. Yes.
Because we do.
Yeah.
If they
You're not wrong.
prove
When did we own the border? I didn't realize we spent that much gold already.
and when
Well,
we
we haven't gotten any treasure in like 5 levels aside from that one-time influx of cash.
when
We might as well own the wall. We broke it,
Charge 'em for
therefore we bought it.
I mean, you were you
remember that.
were asked by the Queen of the Vampires what she could give you at any request, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm good."
It would be ridiculous to ask for a king's ransom. That was clearly in context of what do you need for this journey? I don't need gold for this journey. I want gold for other reasons.
I did ask her for a magical cape. I just didn't get one. Because I wasn't sure what kind of magic.
All right, so I'm getting from the sense of the party that there's no effort to hide or be stealthy. It's just a business as usual. Continue to walk. Correct?
Well, Roger might as well try and hide because he can, but the rest of the party doesn't need to.
We ball.
I'm doing what Roger does.
Right.
I got a 23, which should tell you exactly what I rolled on the die.
So So Roger's like, yeah,
I got
there's
6.
nice.
There's nothing to be afraid of, and therefore I will hide.
Yeah, exactly. Roger's like, I'm sure everything will be fine. Immediately hides.
None of you can see Roger anymore.
In plain sight, yeah.
I actually have an ability as a wood elf, as long as it's in vaguely natural terrain. I can hide in plain sight.
Well, and we are currently on a plane, so it makes sense.
I only need to be lightly obscured as long as the background is vaguely natural in some way.
It's like when Frodo's like throws that cloak over himself and he becomes like a rock.
Yeah.
All right, so stealth will put you at half movement.
That's okay. The party's really slow anyway.
Belzian agrees.
Look,
It is
we're taking a leisurely
physically
walk.
painful. Physically painful to walk this slow.
In fact, Belzian has gotten faster all the time. The entire campaign, all he's gotten is faster. The rest of the party hasn't. So it's like at first he was like, oh, I wish they'd walk faster, but now he's just like.
Well, last time we had a foot race, I'm pretty sure Ulrich was pretty fast. Not as fast.
Belzian would probably win a marathon, but Roger would win the sprint. That bonus action dash.
I have my ways. Perhaps we'll have to have a race when all this is done. Wherever you are.
Until your movement speed hits 105 feet, I am still faster than you round to round if I use all of my actions to move.
Race has nothing to do with it. It's obviously class.
Haha. But my race does actually give me 5 feet of bonus movement speed. Uno reverse.
Skip. All right, so we will continue forward, progressing for a bit. Okay.
Can I throw something out there? I want to have really when they were, excuse me, talking about the fact that I'm a vampire, I can like write it off, blah 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 blah. I think I want to have found steed. I have the spell find steed,
Okay.
and I'll cast it real quick. I summon a spirit that assumes the form.
You've been pretty static from our perspective. Not
I haven't seen anything.
Were you able to hear? Yeah. Were you able to hear me talk through that whole line?
Nope.
You're gonna need to be more specific. But this whole line that you just said now, yes.
Ulrich cut out while he was reading the summon spirit, so I started reading it for him because he cut out.
Oh no, I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah. Okay. So that I cut out and continued reading, and then I finished saying a mastiff, and then Roger came back saying, thus putting more of a status symbol between us. And I'm like, well, that so it just fit. I must have read at the same speed as you, Ulrich. But yeah, I think we dropped the stream for a second even. Is anybody monitoring the stream at the moment?
No.
Nah.
Let me see how long we've been live now.
It's 40 minutes.
It says 40? Well, that's good. It means we didn't necessarily drop, but OBS, oh, I don't see that here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Ooh. But when I refresh, you are offline. Oh, now you're live.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like we lost. Yeah, looks like we lost our connection for a moment. So, but we are back. Yeah, I see that now. Perfect. Welcome back, everyone. Looks like we're going to have 2 episodes for this one, A and B. So,
2 episodes for the price of 1.
that's right.
Is it A or B?
Ulrich, you are summoning a creature while they were deciding about the footprints, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. What animal are you choosing?
Daniel Radcliffe's Warhorse.
Okay, so not the elk or the camel?
No, I'll do a Warhorse.
Okay. All right. So you summon a warhorse. Let's see. Could you roll a d8 for me, please? Okay. It has a statistical chosen form, though. It's a celestial, fey, or fiend. So which would you choose? Celestial, fey, or fiend?
I mean, I feel like Fey or Fiend feel more appropriate given the region.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say Fiend, just because this is more Shadowfell than Fey Wild.
Okay. It has the ability to understand one language of your choice as well. Are you gonna choose Dwarven?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it's gonna be your mount. Yeah. So just make sure you're accounting for its health and any abilities that it might have while utilizing it. All right. So the 6 means that there while it is a spiritual in nature, it is a reddish in color. It looks like it could have while it glows the reddish in color, it also kind of looks reddish underneath with some white dapples along its hind in a just a random pattern on the back and a few dapples around its head as well. The hair, its mane and tail are both dark though, so it's light dapples with dark hair.
Lovely.
Very nice, Belzian. All right. So the group definitely stands even more out with this creature being ridden, I assume, by you, Ulrich.
Yeah.
Right now, bareback, right? Because you don't get the equipment as part of it.
No, I suppose I don't. So, yeah, bareback, because I don't think I would have kept any previous equipment necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. Just remember that any ride checks that you do will be at disadvantage until then. All right. And correct me if I'm wrong on that mechanic. It's been a while. All right, so we continue on, moving forward and closer to the wall for most of the day until you get to, well, what is unmistakably the area where the wall used to be. The grass is definitely growing and almost connected to the other side, though the side on this side is a bit more lush, where the other side is a bit more yellowed. Sorry, reverse that. This side is a little bit more yellow, the other side is a bit more lush. There it goes. There's not a swampy look like the area up north that you've crossed a couple times. Everyone can still hear me, right? Just making sure.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Just kind of seems to be a natural dip in the plane. If you look to your left and right, you can kind of see that straight line going off in both directions. But if you weren't really paying attention to it, you might have missed it. Since you're kind of keeping an eye on the map as you go, that's kind of what kind of clued you in that it was close.
Heck yeah.
So are we continuing? What's the plan?
Cross on over into the other side and then immediately start heading northeast so that we can get to the center.
Yep. Straight on to Seregen, then northeast.
Okay, you cross over to the other side. And then you're going to continue north along the wall at the dip, or like a little bit farther out from it.
I don't think that I'm personally worried about going further away from the wall. We can keep kind of close to it. It's disappeared, but other than that,
If I remember from our first journey across the wall, a lot of things still stayed away from the place where the wall used to be, and so that might make
right.
it easier.
Wombat, I don't know if you saw that the
I saw.
black. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as you cross the wall, the markings on your map of the wall disappear. The map seems to update and change.
Oh, interesting.
Huh.
It's a feature.
Is it only that happened, or did other things change as well? Because I feel like I don't know if it's just it just looks so different without it.
You could do a spot check, a history check.
Do a history check. Oof.
The wall's definitely missing.
Yeah.
You kind of scan the places that you've been in the other two nations, and you don't really see much that's different. You do get the sense that something is different. You just don't really spot what it might be.
I mean, I'll say what to me looks different.
Okay.
And I felt like the water features here looked more flooded and bright.
That's
But
correct.
that might
It-
just
Yep.
okay.
Fuel was
Cool.
looking a bit wet.
That makes some sense to me because there's no longer a wall blocking that water.
Yeah, there used to be a lake here.
Right.
Whoops.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Yeah, waterways have definitely changed. I see it now. Okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't insane.
So
That's unfortunate. I
when
just
we
know
get
that I'm. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say when we get across the wall, do we want to sending or use the sending scroll or whatever message scroll we have to see whoever's in charge, so we can go ahead and get that settled? Since I mean we're already over here, we might as well walk up that way and use it.
Does make sense to me. How many of these spells do we have?
You should give us a box at 20.
She gave us 10.
That was close. I remember it was double what we asked for. So I think we asked for 5.
Yeah, we asked for 5. 5 was the bare minimum to contact everybody twice, and her once. She gave us 10. I'm okay with reaching out to Marius.
Yeah.
But whatever he says, we are not heading off into Seregen until we go back to that triple point and reach out to Rift.
I swear to you, I am not changing the plan.
100%.
I have gone through so much to set myself up as the ultimate ally. I'm not about to abandon it.
Thank you.
Well, then what do we want to tell Marius?
Definitely got to start off with "Hey, loser."
In 25 words or less, so we'll be skipping any pleasantries,
I think
nice or otherwise.
Yeah, he will know who is speaking to him, correct?
He'll hear the voice.
I believe.
Then he knows me best. And though I am Rasp, my mind should be sharper.
I say we burn a whole scroll and just say, "Son."
The creature
Bad
hears the
loser,
message
man.
in his mind, recognizes you as the sender if he knows you. So, yeah.
Do they get one response as well, or do they just get the message?
The creature hears the message, recognizes the sender, and can answer in a like manner immediately. So 25 words.
All right.
I've got it.
So I guess something simple with like demon invasion coming, alliance potentially struck with, I guess what the other two, we would even have to tell them, like, do they know that Necrata like is a thing, and do they know of? I don't know.
I have it in 12 words.
Okay, what's that?
I have it in 10.
Oh,
2 kingdoms
I've got it in
beyond the
37.
wall want to ally against demons.
We need to know their status as well, if we can.
But 10 words, I think, is enough to convey the situation. That gives us
Yeah.
15 to ask questions.
That's fair. But we'll need to do it in one go, so...
I think we probably get 1 or 2 questions out of those words.
2 kingdoms beyond wall. Forging alliance. Possible allies. Demons approach. That's 8 words.
Who rules Seregen? I think is a question we need to ask.
Who now rules? I think.
None.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Who rules Seregen? Um, and then situation report ?
I think this is still sub 25. 3, 4, 5,
let me
6,
see.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
To say no need to ask. We're basically asking status twice in there.
What? Only the second one there. Sorry. 2 kingdoms beyond wall, possible allies, demons approach. Who rules Seregen? What is situation? I guess that's sort of a duplicate.
That's only 14 words. We
We
could
can
probably fit
add
in
a loser 11 more times.
but we won't do that. um, the we might want to expand on who the kingdoms are. Barbarians North, Vampires South. Or Barbarians North, Vampires and Elves South. Um, and we might want to indicate that a temporary peace or a truce has been brokered already.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. Is that good? Do we feel good with this?
I like this. We might as well use our 4 additional words to make the sentences less choppy.
And while we're
So
figuring that
who is
out,
Seregen's king? And
while we're figuring that out, welcome in Raiders from Queen of Rambles. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the raid. I'll plug in just a second. Continue on.
or we might add a few words that say interested in an alliance for after temporary truce brokered or maybe long-term alliance possible.
Yeah, I think if we just add in long-term alliance possible
Or
to that, that'll be the
that's
4
20
words.
yeah, long-term alliance possible is the 4 words that we're missing. I think that's good.
We could do possible alliance, you loser.
2 kingdoms, vampire and elves south, myriad barbarians north, temporary truce brokered, long-term alliance possible, demons waging war, who is king, what is situation. Yeah, that's 25. I like
think
that
that's
message.
Yeah, I think it's succinct. It's a little choppy, but
It's a sending spell. We're writing a tweet here, not a dissertation. we don't get to have my long flowing verbose contract language. This is
We already had contract law 101. This is social media 101.
we have to this needs to fit inside of a vine.
Who king? What happened?
Oh, why you
Where are
gotta
at?
hurt me like
Kids-
that, man?
yeah.
Vine was so much better than anything that came after.
yeah, I was.
I'm old enough to remember Vine being popular and then also Vine ceasing to exist.
Oh, the memories.
Get me the wing.
That one looks pretty good to send.
Yeah.
Not the ones underneath it. But, you know.
I mean, the only thing I would change about any of them is I would definitely call Marius a loser, but that's just a personal thing for Zippo. Like if Zippo was the one sending this, a loser would definitely be in there.
We believe you.
You know, Zippo, I don't know how to nicely say this, but I think you think about him more than he thinks about you.
Yeah, that means I'll be more prepared whenever he betrays me than he will be if I betray him.
That's a fair point.
I'm always thinking
All right, so the final count is the last one
25.
here.
Yeah.
Two kingdoms, vampire and elves south, myriad. Who's speaking it, by the way?
Being an
Ulrich.
old acquaintance of him, I think it should be me.
Okay, go ahead and read it out then.
Two kingdoms, vampires and elves south, myriad barbarians north, temporary truce brokered, long-term alliance possible, demons waging war. Who is king? What is situation? Swear to me.
After a moment, you get back. Thank the gods you're alive. Feared the worst, got the best, it seems. We are ready. I lead our armies, gathered to defend the country.
That is hardly an answer.
Marius claims to lead the armies. Well,
Which is his rights. He is doing
of,
that in his role.
of all the possible stewards for the kingdom, he is at least one of the
Oh.
more sane. So
He's
we'll
got to go
take it.
next. This kingdom's done.
Well, good news for you, Zippo. We're going to Relic next,
Best kingdom ever made. Yep. Let's go.
as we get to ask Rift a very similar question, but with more nuance since Rift knows more of the details than Marius does.
I think Zippo should speak.
Maybe. Why are we letting the 6-year-old lead our negotiations again?
That's a good question.
Believe it or not, he is wiser than his years.
In
He-
fairness, I believe he is a
Some-
full adult in his people.
Nope.
No?
Kobolds reach full adulthood at 7.
Jesus. I mean, Discord.
He's 6.5. Don't worry.
Zarek. Oh, Zarek.
Tolu.
Yeah.
The 12 have mercy on us all.
They usually don't. That's my experience.
You just gotta
Look.
have faith, Roger.
We have. I will say we have 10 of these. I would like more information from Marius. I think as we walk, I would like to consider a couple of pointed questions for him.
Consider as many questions as you can fit into 25 words, but be careful about how long his responses will need to be. We'll definitely be using one of these scrolls to test whether or not we can send across the walls.
That is true.
All right, so the party continues to march northeast toward the diamond that I've marked as the middle.
Heck yeah.
That mark, it's just in place. It doesn't represent anything. I'll actually put it as blue, just to.
Oh, that is very important mark in the middle has changed color.
Question. Can we see other dots indicating the rings of communication now that the wall is missing on the
That
map and we
is
can
an
see
excellent
everything?
question. Thank you. Let me go to my GM side.
Can we refresh our globe? Like hit the F5 button. See if it updates.
Shake it like a magic 8 ball. The
Just
situation is cloudy.
All signs point to yes.
Try again.
All right. So there is one that is here. There is a brighter dot in Jane.
It's one in Jewel, one in Jane, and one in Sarasota, question mark?
The one in Sarasota is where you last left Rift, and you cannot
Right.
see that one right now.
Okay, so that's not real.
Okay.
All right. If the globe doesn't see across the borders of the old wall, I'm not willing to test the scrolls yet.
Agreed. There's an easier thing for us to do rather than test the scrolls, which are limited in their nature. I will simply. Well, it's 500 feet. Zippo, you are skilled. Can you cast something further than 500 feet?
Further than 500 feet?
Yes.
No, my closest thing is 150 feet.
That makes sense.
All right, so the points of light you see, there used to be 3 outlying ones in Seregen, presumably of Shadow's old group. One is still in Istabel, where you left it. The one that was near Learden is missing, but there is now one in Jewel. And there is a brighter mark in Jane, presumably meaning 2 or more.
I know we left one with Marius and one with Rift.
And we had one with the trader as well.
Oh, and Jordan has one, yes. Presumably Jordan is the other one in Jane. That's hard to say for sure.
There was of the 3 rings, you had you recall that there was one in Rilladrin, one in Istabel, and one in Learden. There are now one still in Istabel, and one near Jewel.
It may be a good idea to reach out to Jordan to get his perspective as a third party, but still very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And what would we ask him?
So,
I think, honestly, we could send him the same message.
yep, compare and contrast. Because he may have a very different opinion from what Marius is telling us.
Jordan knows about the barbarians already, though, and to some extent the vampires and elves to the south.
Well, we can just tell him, just change the language slightly to that we negotiated with them. I mean, we already kind of communicated with that, but
Well, we could save some words and maybe ask another question. Is what I'm
So,
saying.
Temporary truce brokered with
Necrata and
people.
Relic.
Beyond, I would just say peoples beyond wall. I mean,
That's
I guess
the same.
it's
That's the same amount of words.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if he actually knew the names of the 2 countries.
He was in Relic with us for a long time and knew we were
Right.
going to Necrata when we went there.
Could not recall if he knew the names. That's all. But yeah, that's fair. Temporary truce broker with Necrata and Relic. Long-term alliance possible. Demons waging war. Who is king?
We have 6 words, I think. to ask
What
another question?
is situation?
Right. So this second, so you're rephrasing this. Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, we're Jordan knows more, so we can spend less words.
Yeah.
I think just
What?
this one. It's not quite 25, but
It's 24, so we can fit in a loser for Zippo.
That one's traitor.
actually, here, temporary
We can fit another
truce
word in.
brokered with Necrata and Relic. Long term. Actually, is long term 2 words? Yeah, it is.
We've been treating it as 2 words.
Yeah. Long term alliance possible. Demons waging war.
My
This
suggestion,
king.
instead of what
situation?
concerns do we have, it would be what do we need to know?
Tell all. Zippo is upset.
There we go.
That's the important bit.
All right. So that's what you're sending,
Yeah.
and who's sending it to him?
I figure Ulrich or Roger probably.
Yeah.
Let's make it Ulrich.
Okay. Temporary truce brokered with Necrata and Relic. Long term alliance possible. Demons waging war. Who is king? What is situation? Tell all. Zippo is upset.
Okay. Temporary truce brokered with Necrata and Relic. Long-term alliance possible. Demons waging war. Who is king? What is situation? Tell all. Zippo is upset. Okay, that's a lot for 25 words. Let me see what I can do with that.
You'd be surprised how much you can fit in 25 words. Like, it seems incredibly restrictive, but in my experience,
It's so not.
you have so much space.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a few things here as to be a little bit under the behind the curtain here. There are people who know how to use these spells and can gamify it a little bit, and there are people who don't. Obviously, Marius, not really one to say full words, right? So he was able to say much less. But Jordan understands the spell, so he'll be speaking very similarly to you. So I have to think a lot more carefully about how
Yeah.
Jordan would talk
Yes.
than
Right.
Marius. So yeah.
Also, it's just we in our language we use a lot of filler words and non-words, but if you strip all that out, you can communicate an enormous amount of information very efficiently. We just don't.
Well, a lot of those words add context. And you could argue that some of them aren't necessary, but they do actually convey information most of the time. When you already have shared context, though, it's very easy to strip them out. But no, I recently had a similar situation in the game I was running with the sending spell. Is the party's basically just gotten access to it and had a real need to cast sendings to grab multiple people, and the same situation. Some of the NPCs were very careful in how they responded, and some of them just talked and got cut off. They were reaching out to an orcish army that they were allying with. And the leader of the Orcish army, I just literally counted up on my fingers as I rattled off what I was doing. And when I got to 25 words, I stopped. It was mid-sentence.
Great.
Oh man, that sounded like that was going to be important. Oh well.
It's okay. Over half of the coalition leaders of the army they raised survived.
I think your sentence was all fine for him to answer with 50 words and have no and he would and have no problems answering, and then you threw in the Zippo's upset. So now he's got to make some space for that.
It do be like that sometimes. He can cast sending. If he needs to talk to us again, he can just cast another spell.
It's true. All right. You hear back, Ulrich, a familiar voice. Message daily. Welcome back. Been busy. Timely. Marius ready to invade. At Jane. Demons explain a lot. Orders? Done my best. Zippo has statue now.
I relay that exactly word for word.
Message daily. What does he think we are?
Can you read that one more time?
No, he messaged to us daily. He tried to reach out to us daily.
Oh,
in
messaged
hopes-
with a D.
Yes.
He knew that didn't work over the wall.
Well, he may have. I mean, we were just about to try. And, you know, situation's always evolving.
He knew they didn't
Don't
work
say
over
that.
the
It'll
wall.
make me feel like I'm at work.
Yeah. Roger, we are at work.
That's our secret. We're always working.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Every day I'm hustling.
Marius is ready to invade. That's not good news.
It does sound
Yeah.
like Marius has, if he is ready to invade and gather armies, good, bad, or indifferent, he is the locus of power in Seregen. So he's who we need to talk to.
Yeah, it's true. And again, I think that we need to make very clear at this point to him that these are allies. Invasion, not necessary.
Not to mention allies that do seem to be a couple levels higher than what we've seen in the past. I mean, I'm no military man, but what I've seen in Relic and Necrata is a bunch of armies that could probably wipe the floor with us. Unless they've
Like
got
to-
some new trick up their sleeves, you know?
Exactly. I would like to make clear to him these are allies. Invasion not necessary currently. Prepare for war against demons. Have the noble houses met to decide Seregen's future.
All right, so this is the second one.
Protect. Yeah, I mean, I'm proposing this to everyone. This is a resource we're sharing, but
Seregen is the most out of the loop, so that is an
This
amazing.
needs
joke.
to be the last one. If we're writing a third one for Seregen, this needs to be the last one until we contact Rift and Queen Cordelia.
That is fair. We can. I just don't want him to start marching. So if you have advice,
Well, wait. Having them marching is not a bad thing, because we are going to need that military force, just not as an invasion force.
okay.
So if they meet us halfway, or whenever, they're going to have to come through us, right? Um, Assuming they're going. I don't know we don't know which way they're going. But if we head them off at the pass, there is a strong possibility that we can talk to them directly and save the time that we would have to burn going back to Jane.
We should ask, as part of our message to Marius, we should ask where we can meet to talk in detail.
I mean, I would think that Licht is probably, just looking at it geographically, Licht is going to be their best launching point for either Necrata or Relic.
I agree.
Well, depends
Because
on where they're trying to invade either. But
right, unless they're trying to do a coastal thing in the north or the mountains or through the wastes to the south, but they don't know that those are wastes. They have no. I would imagine they probably have very little recon. But it looks like there is a well-established roadway. I mean, we know there's a well-established road between Jane and Licht that can support a sizable army before they have to start going overland.
More importantly, it is near us, and it would save us time. While I do think that it is imperative that the army be able to march quickly, it does not lose a tremendous amount of time by going to Licht and then having to march along the wall versus versus just marching straight to Virus and staging there.
So looking at the map, we're somewhere between 10 and 14 days from Licht on our desired path, going to the center and then straight back. So we should, if we're going to tell them to meet us in Licht, then we should tell them the absolute earliest time frame when we would be there, which would be like 10 or 11 days from now.
Can we speed this with the Quetzalcoatl polymorph?
Maybe. Though realistically, if he's still in Jane, he's got to travel almost the same distance we do.
True, and armies are going to travel. A fully kitted army is going to travel slower than we can.
Yeah, I think telling him we can be in Licht in 2 weeks is reasonable.
Yeah, I like that.
Is that the full 25 words, or do we still have space? I would like to tell him
it's
that
exactly 25, but we can change it.
If we can, I'd like to fit in that we can bring more news at that meeting. 14 days can become fortnight. Oh, wow.
Well, that's why I thought 14 days might be better, because we thought, even though we're saying 2 weeks in the colloquial of our real world, the marching time will take 14 days, up to.
I'm gonna put into canon right now though that there is no such thing as a fortnight. It's a wealth night, and it's
Right.
a reference to Saren, the god of luck, a wealth night, and it's
I
two
like
sets
that.
of 6, so 12.
That's cool.
Yeah, wealth night.
That's nice.
Right. All right.
Okay, I think I've got better kingdoms beyond wall. Our allies. Stage. That linked.
Um, or meet at Licht to discuss in 14 days.
I mean, yeah.
Stage at Licht to meet us for debrief 14 days, maybe sooner. Um,
That's 22.
Zippo's still mad.
I would say bring Jordan.
Ooh, bring Jordan. That's good.
I'm not gonna be a part of this meeting.
That'll bring us. This will bring us to I think 24.
I like that. I think that's really good.
Godspeed.
Yeah, God's speed. That's 25. Excuse me.
Yeah, he hears gods, and then it ends.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I would know if those were not one smushed word, in which case I wouldn't say it. I'm not going to end it with gods.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
God.
Flawed. You and I went in very different directions on that.
It's also 9 o'clock, so that would be a good spot for a break.
So, I take it that we're no longer talking to Jordan for the second message. It's now back to Marius, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we were.
yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Although our first message to Marius did indicate that they are allies, and only Jordan seems to think that Marius is trying to go to war. Like Marius seemed pretty happy at the very least to hear that we were both alive and not angry with everybody else.
Right. I mean, we could save, I guess, 5 words with kingdoms beyond wall or allies, remove that, and say maybe bring Jordan. Can he communicate? Or yeah, bring Jordan. He can. He can communicate with us.
I just say just say Jordan can cast sending. Bring Jordan, he can cast sending.
All right, so instead it will look like this. I think that's 25.
March 4 against demons. Stage at Licht to meet us for debrief. 14 days, maybe sooner. Bring Jordan. He can cast sending spell. Got it.
I count 24.
All right. Then I will remove the word spell and use the last 2 words for God's speed.
Or you could do Zippo's statue? Question mark.
No, I'm not going to ask Marius about Zippo's statue. I'm going to leave that with a Jordan communication. if he's sending to us daily, then I suppose he'll be, wise enough to try it again.
He just stops. He's like, "Oh, they're back," and then it never
No,
calls.
no need to call anymore.
Like every friend after college.
Oh damn.
JK.
Well, on that sobering note, I'm going to call a break. We're going to be back in 10 minutes, where we'll continue our trek to the north. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Just a break. We'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. We are back from our break. Hope you did well. All right, so where we left off, Ulrich sent a message back to Marius. March for war against demons. Stage at Licht to meet us for a debrief. 14 days, maybe sooner. Bring Jordan. He can cast Sending Spell. All right. So Marius, I will work on a response for. But feel free to discuss things while we are traveling northeast, and I will get that message post haste. I had to take an actual break, so I don't have it ready just yet.
I don't know how much there's going to be to discuss until we get a response from Marius, because what Seregen's posture is kind of informs the rest of our diplomacy.
It's an important piece of the puzzle, but I think we might be able to walk northeast on the Seregen side of the wall while we're waiting. What if it takes them forever to get back to us? What if he has company over? Or he's in the bathroom or something? We saw the bathroom in Jane. It was very nice. Would there be anybody else in Seregen that we want to reach out to?
I don't think we can burn another scroll.
We're not using any more of these scrolls until we at least contact Riff and Cordelia, because we may need to spend several going back and forth with them also, and we only have 7 left.
That's not too bad. That's 100 of words.
All right. So Marius responds with, "We'll meet you there with our forces, and I expect intel in Licht. Where are you now? We've lost 2 cities. Travel may be difficult."
This guy. Do I have to explain the fucking spell to him?
He'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. We're not burning any more scrolls.
Yeah, well, I was pretty clear that Jordan can cast the spell, so hopefully he will utilize him as a conduit.
Well, we put our best foot forward, and we can only hope for the best.
Let's say I wouldn't describe this as a low magic setting.
Well, not anymore.
There was a fair amount of magic being thrown around even earlier.
It's fair. It just wasn't as easy.
The party didn't have a lot of magic, but the setting sure seemed to.
I would say Seregen is a low magic itself. The that kingdom is low magic. Relic is higher magic because of the dragons, and Necrata is all magic. But Seregen, the land of humans, are pretty dullard in the grand scheme of things, in my estimation. I don't think we had like an especially high leveled wizard that we were aware of. I think we may now be the most magical in this land, with the exception of maybe Jordan.
I believe there was mention of some magic users. They're just relatively rare.
Right.
I think we saw somebody polymorph into a bird and fly away in like the first 2 sessions, but we never did meet them. Or did we? It was so long ago.
Yeah, one of your cleric buddies. I will say it is getting. You have traveled a day at this point. So you rest for the night and continue traveling for the next couple days. Based on the alliance, you are fairly certain that no individuals are probably going to be coming through into Necrata. And you know where the forces of Jane are and where they're going to. So ultimately, the only thing you have to worry about is, well, nature itself. So if we could roll 3d20s, please.
I got one.
Okay.
Nice middle of the road. Let's go.
And feel free, instead of taking the normal 1, 2, 3 watches, I'm kind of doing this as the happenings of the watch. Okay, we have 3.
Yeah.
So perfect. So if there's any conversation you folks want to have processing the details of the day, feel free. We can continue that also in the travel the next day. The night is fairly uneventful, and the sky is clear. It's nice to be back in Seregen.
It is.
Can we see Necrata just across the ditch? Looking all gross.
You've put a little of distance between you and the ditch at the moment. But yeah, you can obviously see the Necrata on the other side. It's just, just a walk away, And yet everything feels much more, you feel at ease, you've been on edge the entire time that you were in Necrata, and frankly, you were used to it. But now that it's gone, you realize how palpable that sense of impending dread was in that land. Whether it be everything is either dead or wanting you to be, or just that you're in Shadowfell and it's just a different place. Whatever the case might be, having it put behind you, you all feel much more at ease. All of you, of course, except for Ulrich. Ulrich, you do not feel any different. In fact, you sense you kind of looked forward to being back in Seregen, your homelands, but it just feels like another place now.
It's great to be back home.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't want to be here.
It's a pretty nice place. I'm pretty partial to it.
I'm hoping we get the chance to go to Reladrin. We never made our way there before, this whole misadventure with the wall. Though it was on our path before we got diverted. I still need to give
Yeah.
Finn this stupid bracelet.
You still got that, eh?
Never put it down.
I can't say I've been to many places in Seregen, but I can now say that I've been almost everywhere else.
And we're talking during the next day's travel, I would assume. Uh, I am gonna continue moving us forward. Um, so, is there any in the next couple days travel? We have about 3 days of travel between where your destination is and now high points. What are some things that the group wants to work on in this time? Um, there is things on my end that I am going to be taking care of, but anything the group is planning on doing in this time, since there's 3 days of travel.
Not really. For Zippo, he's just kind of ready to go, back into Relic. Pretty excited about that. If possible, at this point, I think I'd be riding on Brunhild. 'Cause I ain't ridden her for a while. 'Cause, cardigans and stuff like that.
Out of curiosity, what was Zippo's reaction to hearing about Jordan's response?
Uh, it was kind of like he was kind of excited on one end because dragons have statues, so now Zippo has statue. Zippo is dragon, but since it was coming from Jordan, he was like, he could be lying because he was a traitor.
Belzian has been writing his memoirs while we have downtime. We're not traveling. You shouldn't write and walk. But he's thinking of calling them My Brief Time as a Rat. Not working title.
I think Ulrich, seeing Belzian do that, has a moment of thinking he will offer you his horse before forgetting to do so.
This magic steed thing that you just found?
Yeah, but again, he doesn't. It passes his mind for a moment before leaving his attention.
Oh, Belzian still thinks of little Belzy every now and then.
I remember little Belzy. I wonder whatever happened to them.
I'm, I heard they went to a farm in Relic. Different province.
Too soon.
There would, of course, be concern for Ulrich because he's probably looking a little more vampy every day. But it would be rude to be too forward about that.
All right. Ulrich, you get a message, which you recognize as Jordan's voice, as the day begins. Licked bound with army, docked on sending. Does Zippo want to talk? What questions do you have? I'll answer best I can. I miss y'all.
Okay. He conveys this to everyone. Zippo, that's I'm gonna have to respond, but
No. I don't want to hear any more lies.
I think Ulrich really just wants to know what towns have fallen, who is the enemy. Um,
And since Jordan is stocked on sending, we can kind of open it up a little bit. Is so
right.
um, ultimately, we can kind of open it up to what the broad points are of what you'll ask, and I can kind of parlay that as shortly as needed. Um,
Sure.
he'll be able to cast 6 sendings a day. He um, The only disadvantage is, if he's starting the conversation as opposed to you, it's a little bit backhanded in communication, right? He's kind of got to
I,
preface it and then, yeah.
yeah. I think Ulrich will pointedly ignore sentiments here, or maybe not pointedly. He just doesn't show any kind of warmth necessarily or care about um, Zippo's dilemma with Jordan. If Belzian asks how the common folk are doing, he'll add that into just what of the common folk.
Yeah, like citizen morale? Question mark.
Um, One thing that I am interested in knowing, Marius says 2 cities have been lost. Which cities and lost to what?
That's exactly what I asked.
Yeah.
What towns have fallen? Who is the enemy? Is Marius vying for the crown? What is the common folks? What is the
Like how is their morale? I think we
how
can
are
get
the
that
common
two
folks?
letter or 2 words. Yeah,
Yeah, how are the common folk?
like citizens
Yeah,
morale.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think broad works, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, and basically we have kind of an ongoing shorthand conversation for the next 3 days as you discuss things. And you can kind of see both your progress and uh, his as the days progress.
neat.
So
Is Marius not leaving? Okay. The bigger dot is leaving Jane.
Wouldn't that be more than one person?
Yes. There should be 3 other dots for Gerard's underlings. One apparently in Jane, one in Jewel, one in Istabel.
They're just laying low.
all right. Um, so I'll move this. To answer your questions a little bit more directly without having to do it back and forth, since we've got the words now. Jordan states that Jewel and Virus have both been wiped out by the flooding. They're gone. They're just gone. Um, The enemy at large has been largely some attacks on the border, both in the mountains of Dis, as well as Darenai was briefly threatened until suddenly the forces melted away. So it seems like the far reaches of both sides of the kingdom. So um, rather than split his forces, he gathered them in Jane and drafted soldiers throughout the kingdom. So the common folk are currently representing a good portion of the army. A draft has gone throughout the kingdom of any able-bodied men to defend Seregen from any attacks. Some have already been deployed across borders, or not across borders, but at the borders. But most are marching with Marius now toward Licht.
Okay.
All right, wait. So the towns that we lost were
Natural disasters.
natural disasters, not products of war.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Marius is excuse me. Marius is not the wisest, clearly. Poor choice of words. I think during the course of this, of learning all of this, Ulrich would ask, what is the state of Darenier?
Yeah, so he basically parlays that while there was some attacks, it still exists.
Did they specify who was the attacker?
Presumably forces from the barbarian lands.
I mean, it would make sense for the Changeling clan to come over. Of course, that in and of itself is worrying. If they are changelings, they could easily replace people in Darenier. I noticed that one of the questions was not addressed.
Is Marius vying for power? Yeah, we kind of got into a little bit of side combo.
Yeah.
Jordan seems to, as carefully as he can say it, say that he's been doing his best to influence that eventuality to not happen with Marius. Marius has been asking Jordan quite a lot of questions about the other side of the wall, but Marius has become paranoid with the attacks and with strange happenings happening throughout this country. Seemingly demon attacks popping up out of nowhere and then similarly disappearing as well.
Oh, so demons are here.
Yes.
Okay.
But everyone has thought that they were barbarians in moving in secret. So, and that's kind of why Marius circled the wagons at Jane.
Of course. Hey, GM question here. The scepter. That broke the wall, correct?
The jewel did.
The jewel did. What became of the scepter and the jewel?
The jewel turned into a book.
Yep, right.
And the scepter is still in Jane.
Okay, good to know. I mean, if others have things they want to ask Jordan, full disclosure, I'm trying to indicate that Ulrich is somewhat detached in a lot of what he's doing, a lot of what he's saying in ways that he wasn't necessarily before, not offering Belzian his horse, for example, though it passes his mind. So I'm not going to, as a player, ask a number of questions that I want to. My focus is very hyper vigilant for conquest currently.
Get that oath. There are a lot of questions we have asked that I think we all wanted to ask, like pertaining to our diplomatic mission and trying to prevent, a world war here. But I don't think there's any other questions Belzian wants to send. He would, of course, have a million questions if we were in person, but Belzian's not really a big texter.
Yeah. Ulrich, sorry, Shade. Think of Marius as Raymond Holt signing each of his text messages. That's kind of Marius's vibe, right? Sincerely, Raymond Holt each time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He doesn't know how to use this format.
He's speaking truths which he thinks are easily understandable and aren't to you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion? Yarvik, anything you want to know about?
No, I think I think we got a pretty good bead. There's nothing really Yarvik needs to know until we get to Licht and can talk to everybody. He's just been concentrating on the road.
Yeah, I don't know how much more we need to tell them, unless they have more questions for us.
Um, Jordan indicates that he has a lot of questions that can wait till they meet in person. He asks two questions that specifically, though. One, is there anything pressing that he needs to know right now as they approach Licht? And two, what happened with Zippo?
So Jordan's asking those, correct?
Correct.
Do not attack our neighbors. Do not attack our neighbors.
Yeah, I am. I mean, again, this was something that I pressed previously, but yeah, I think we have a very our alliance with the bordering nations is fragile. We
But
must,
important.
but important. We must preserve that and not attack them. Zippo felt abandoned by you.
Could Jordan not?
Yeah. Oh, can
Yeah,
we inform Jordan that Zippo has some bizarre beef with Marius also?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like he knew that though, because He was with
Who
us
was
for
that?
so long, and the Zippo
Oh,
was
true.
Yeah, he
bemoaning the
knows.
list forever.
Yeah.
Could
Look, all
Jordan?
I'm saying is if you need somebody to take Marius out, you let me know.
Look, if
Yeah.
we have to, we have to.
But I mean, feel free to. I mean, it has been 2 months. Feel free to remind Jordan about anything that you feel he might need to know.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I guess felt abandoned by Jordan, doesn't like Marius. That's as much as I think Ulrich feels he needs to share.
All right. Zippo, you get a direct message. It's Jordan. He states that he doesn't. I'm not going to type it out just so to save time, but he starts by basically indicating he doesn't require a response. But he's missed you dearly and has found a great many uses of the grease spell to make Marius's days unpleasant.
The only thing Zippo responds with is traitor.
Okay. He doesn't send another spell. All right, next day. Can I get 3 rolls, please? D20s again.
I'm telling you, I am cursed when it comes to rolling dice nowadays. Like, even in like the game I run for my brother and them, like I cannot roll high.
It's just been a bad night for rolls. Everybody's been rolling low.
I got this. This is gonna be great.
All right. So for the first part of the day, it begins to rain. It's never fun to march in the rain, but it dries up around noon and continues to be relatively clear the rest of the day. You see that the army has made progress and is now passing New Pod, as you also get fairly close to your destination. You'll be hitting the midway point between the 3 nations at the end of your day. It was literally 3 days travel. You get a brief report from Jordan of the army's progress. Nothing really new other than that. And at the end of the day, you come to the midway point.
Dun dun dun.
All right, so the midway point in itself, you can see where the 3 areas of the wall, the impressions, meet. It's still fairly dry at this point here, so presumably somewhere more east, there is some sort of runoff that is causing the swampiness. Ultimately speaking, things feel that unease is still there when you cross the wall, different from Necrata, but also like hair prickling on the back of your neck. Um, Especially when you're in the center of it. This seems to be maybe a point of. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's the meeting of the three walls. This is ground zero. This is the ground zero from the wall being erected. Not the ground zero, of course, of when it was destroyed, but still a point of power of some sort.
Ours was ground 0-2.
Yes. Or ground minus zero.
T minus ground.
Zero ground and
Try to
ground
get some
zero.
grass types out here.
Belgium's going to put 1 foot on one side of the divide, 1 foot on the other, and then like 3-point contact touch the other one, and be touching all three countries at the same time.
How long are your arms and legs?
About 400 feet. No, like in the ditch.
Okay, so you just lay down in the middle of the ditch. Got it.
I think over the course of the last few days, Ulrich will suggest that since we will only have to be, about 500 feet apart roughly, that we need to ultimately try and convince armies to stage here for this to be a primary, if not the only or the main necessarily, but a major um, encampment for the three united armies, with each army essentially taking over their portion. And we should, over the next few days, well, no, we're going to be going back to Lix. So eventually, perhaps. You know what? Never mind. I'm sorry, my brain's not working right now. Disregard what I'm saying.
Long term, probably it would be wise to have a camp here, though. I agree.
Right. Right. And if we happen to be the ones to start up the camp, I think I'm just trying to say that, like, we should maybe consider having, like, Roger and Seregen on the Seregen side of things, Belzian / Zippo. Roger / Yarvik on the Seregen side of things, Belzian / Zippo on the Relic side of things.
And you have Necrata.
Correct, yeah, so that if there's any kind of sending communications, they have someone to contact, a point of contact. And then I'm only going Necrata because I'm the safest.
Understood.
Makes sense. Cool.
That math does math.
All right, perhaps we should mark this point. I'll leave a dart right in the middle. I don't mean cigarette.
If we're willing to take a little bit of time, I can excavate some earth here.
Oh yeah, you got that thing. We saw you do that a few days ago.
I'll just take some dirt and pile it up at a really big point. It's not going to stay that way for long, but I don't know. We can make a big mound. The couple minutes of me using the move earth cantrip.
Oops.
I guess we should be thinking of what we want to ask Rift, right? We probably should step outside of the ditch here, but
Yep.
what do we want to tell him?
It would be very similar.
Yeah, something like truce with Necrata secured, Seregen army on the move. How did the fight and Sarasota go.
Yeah, or like yeah, what is situation?
I'm gonna say I really hope that Rift is still there. He was a pretty cool guy.
Or like what is situation in Relic, maybe? The how many words do we have with that?
Yeah, we're back to being a little bit more limited.
That's 14 words, so we've got 11 more if we want to. Truce with Necrata secured, Seregen army on the move. What is situation in Relic? What other things do we need to ask? What other things do we need to tell them? We should maybe. I mean, they're already assuming that Seregen's going to be an ally, I think, but we should maybe state that explicitly.
Yeah, I mean, we do need to technically negotiate those details with Seregen, so I think, you know, it's. I just don't want to like. I don't want to say, hey, they're allies, and to be wrong about it. You know what I mean?
No, that's reasonable.
That would be very nice, but you are working on a lot of assumptions.
Maybe diplomacy still happening.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. What other questions should we ask? Do you need anything?
I don't know what we could offer them, but I suppose asking's a kind thing to do.
How can we help?
Yeah, how can we help? Maybe is a better question.
Yeah.
It's kind of like asking if there's anything to do after the dishwasher's been loaded already.
And we've made clear that Necrata are allies, so they shouldn't be attacking them anymore.
Yeah. So what we have so far: truce with Necrata secured.
Yeah.
Seregen army on the move. What is situation in Relic? How can we help? Which I think brings us to 18 words.
Right. I think that's enough, personally. But Zippo, actually, no, Ulrich wouldn't ask.
We want Zippo to send this one.
No. I, the player, was going to ask, but the character would not. Sorry.
Probably better that he doesn't. Zippo will definitely forget those and just go on like a little rant.
Well, you got like 4 extra words or whatever, so like we figured we would coach Zippo and whatever happened.
As long as Zippo conveys the
Stick to the script, Zippo.
well, maybe maybe not. Maybe Roger will do this one, just so that we can spare Ulrich's poor voice.
Appreciate it.
So burning the fourth of the scrolls. Roger will cast sending to Rift. Once we're on the relic side. Truce with Necrata secured. Seregen army on the move. What is situation in Relic? How can we help?
Right. Could you type that out?
Yeah, I'll paste it in.
Thank you.
Let
Okay. You get back. He seems distracted. His words sound distracted. Since you hear a voice. Battle won, but costly. Our forces now at Tear. In permanent wall formed to stop invasion. Now we defend. Hasty assistance.
the tear is in the Eternal Clan lands. Okay. So I'll relay that to the party.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask the party the question, whose assistance do we offer?
That's a tough one, since we are merely diplomats.
Well, do we plead to Queen Cordelia to send assistance? Or do we promise Seregen's army, or do we do nothing?
Cordelia did indicate that she was, gonna help us out, and probably more has the means to get to the Tear or anywhere else than the Seregen army does, which takes weeks to walk from one place to another.
We could also ask Queen Cordelia first.
I'm gonna just point out something that we didn't think about, but I think Ulrich would bring this up. Reparations. So that might be a sticking point for Queen Cordelia to help out.
Didn't she want reparations the other way though, because of the lands of Relic invading Necrata?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that she may want reparations before she does too much helping.
I see where you're coming from now.
I mean, then perhaps we shouldn't offer her assistance. Well, I mean, in theory, how long will it take for the tear is, almost 800 miles as the crow flies.
That's all, right?
That's 4 times 8. That's a month's worth of walking. For Seregen's army to make it there. After they've made it to Licht, which is already at least a week from now, right?
Right.
So Seregen's army is, if the goal is to make it to the tear, a month and a half away. Our best bet, if Rift needs help, is going to have to come from Necrata. Seregen just cannot get there in time.
Right, that's true. I mean, we could travel the 500 feet south. Have a chat with the queen and ask if she can do the aid.
Yeah, well, I have to figure out what we would want to say to her.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it would be that we reached Seregen. We are working on everything, and um,
So to the Queen, we've reached Seregen. Um, uh, uh, something to the effect of working on negotiations with Seregen's leadership.
negotiations in progress.
Yeah. Negotiations, in progress, but also perhaps information. I don't know. Uh, when we should tell her when we will know more about the situation in Seregen, or
Yeah,
when we can tell her more. So that'll be distance to Lichtenbach, I guess.
yeah.
Uh, fucking 400 miles we have to walk.
Yep.
So 16 days. I guess we'll tell her in 3 weeks. That'd be 18 days.
It's possible we might pick up some kind of mounts from the Seregen forces, but that could just be wishful thinking.
Um, will be a few weeks. More, maybe firmer information. Um,
I mean, just details to come within 20 days or something. It's more.
Yeah, more details. Within 20 days. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we should use basically the rest of our words to inform about Relic.
Yep, I agree.
Relic is winning versus Orcus, but at great cost. Or Relic, I should say, Relic is defending versus Orcus at great cost.
Yeah.
They ask for assistance, and it's there's no real way to guarantee that convey where. So we could say it's a lot of words to say 30 miles west of El Morel, 350 miles north.
I mean, it would be easier to just say, have your forces meet them at the border, and then we convey that, because it's The situation will evolve.
They all right.
This is a whole nother kind of puzzle, isn't it? Huh?
All right. So I have gone over 25 words, so I need to trim some words here.
All right. While you're working on, I'll be
Meet them
right
at
back.
border.
I mean, I think can aid be sent to the
Or can aid be sent?
Yeah, even that. I mean,
Or
yeah.
well, can Necrata send aid?
Or even can Necrata aid?
Okay, so what I currently have, which I believe is 24 words. We've reached Seregen. Negotiations in progress. More details within 20 days. Relk defending against Orcus at great cost. They need help. Can Necrata aid? Or I guess I can just post it in the thing.
It sounds good. It reads good too.
All right. And this is also being said by Ulrich, right? We've reached Seregen, negotiations in process, more details within 20 days. Relic defending against Orcus at great cost. They need help. Can the Necrata aid? Correct?
Sounds good to me.
Yep, let's send it. Well, the good news is, folks, that Queen Cordelia will probably be in the position to ask for her reparations here if she goes to help them.
Yeah.
And frankly, if they lose enough stuff, they won't be in a position to deny them to her.
Yeah.
All right. Orcus spotted in the Necrata, taking control of some of the undead. The elves owe me a favor. Now too will Relic. I'll send word. Hurry back, Oki.
Sorry, can I get all of the text for that?
Yep.
You talk
Don't-
faster than I can parse that into text.
Orcus spotted in Necrata, taken over some undead. Elves owe her a favor, so now we'll send word. Hurry back.
Okay. We should reach back out to Rift and let him know that Necrata has promised aid.
Yeah.
So I guess Necrata will Necrata will send aid. I suppose we should say they expect a favor. Uh, um, Orcus is there. I don't know if that's important to tell.
I mean, just they should be warned. You know.
Yeah. Orcus is Orcus controlling some undead in Necrata. Um, again, that's 14 words, and we have another 11.
Yeah.
We could ask what Seregen can do in the West. Although perhaps Seregen should be preparing to defend itself against Orcus. Does anybody else have anything to add?
I'm struggling with things specific.
Unless there's any other objection, I feel you lead us in unity.
I think other than waiting for any replies, it's probably a good idea to just start heading to Licht.
Well, I've got 11 more words.
Right.
I'm okay with burning like one or two, but I feel like we can at least ask a few questions.
So, how's the weather?
Trying to think what other things we would maybe want to know.
I mean, I think. Okay, Orcus is very mobile. How do we deal with that? Because he's being seen in multiple places, right? How are we going to address that?
He's got portals, presumably. I'm guessing
Right.
that something's opened up.
Now you're thinking with portals. Can we have portals? Like, okay, the marsupialis are really big.
I guess there's a let us know if you figure out how to close the rift. Or close the tear. Yeah.
I wonder if there's anyone that we've met in these lands that also has sending other than Jordan.
I would think both would have some equivalent of it, right?
Yeah, that's actually...
we should ask to set up some kind of intelligence station here at the Triple Point.
Yeah. I think that's good. We do need to establish easier communication.
It is one of our biggest obstacles at the moment.
Yeah, something like that. Propose setting up information exchange point here.
Establishing how do we tell him where is here?
Where the walls met, or where walls met, if we want to.
We got the words to spare. All right, this is what I have right now. We got 3 words left.
Love you, Zippo.
Zippo says hi.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna include Zippo says hi, and then if nobody else has has anything to add, I'm gonna leave that in there and send it as is.
Full
Heck
send.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I like it.
Necrata will send aid. They expect a favor. Orcus controlling some undead in Necrata. Propose establishing intelligence point where the walls met. Zippo says hi.
All right. All right. Here we go. Noted. We'll need someone all three nations recognize for point. Favors are for survivors. I'll look to the south for their aid. Greetings, little one.
I will pass that on and say greetings, little one, directly to Zippo.
Zippo was very ecstatic.
And well, Ulrich, if we need somebody all three nations recognize, that's you.
Yep, I'm Skippy. Kind of the whole point of me. I mean, should I? I mean, can't very well.
Shade, you're cutting out. I'm only getting about the first half of anything that you say.
Is this better?
Mm-hmm.
Is this better?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I would say, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for me to be the point of contact. It's what Ulrich's been working towards. I'm just trying to think if he needs to stay behind. I mean, he's loath to do so, to not meet with Marius, to be quite honest. But at the same time, he is the obvious candidate here.
Well, before we meet with Marius, Ulrich could probably better eat something.
Yeah, no, that's true. We've been how many days traveling? How many days since the
It's been
return?
half a week now.
Half a
4
week.
days. 4 days.
So I've got
You got 2 days.
okay, 4 days. I've got 2 days. I mean, I'm curious to find. Actually, that's something I should have asked. They've been fighting demons. Surely she knows whether or not demons are drunk.
Most of that cut out.
She seemed to. Well, I heard him. So she seemed to imply that demons could be drunk, but she didn't recommend it.
Right, I do remember asking that the day of a few weeks ago. All right, well, Ulrich needs to find. We've got 14 days travel back to Licht. We need someone to be here. It'll be a month. I mean, should Ulrich stay here and just start setting up that kind of contact as a relay?
Say I hate to split the party, and there's not going to be much. There's not going to be any new information for at least a week, right? And you would basically just be a relay between Necrata and Relic, which is useful, but
Right. Okay, well then, I mean, I don't know if we need to send back to Rift, but if we tell them that we'll serve as the point of contact, then and that it will be about 30 days. Do you think that makes sense?
All right. All right. So we can help establish that point. We can help establish that point. Expect news from Seregen in 20 days.
I mean, I would even. Although it's 6, yeah, because it was. Yeah, I think 30 days give us much time. If they want to start giving us faster means of transport, there.
It would be a tough time to ask for rocks or something like that.
Agreed. I think that. Right. I mean, I think it's like we don't explain. Just make clear that like our timelines are slow because we limited in our means of travel.
Well, we only have it's like what? I think 8 days from where we are here to Licht, and another 8 days
Right.
back.
Yeah.
So I think we can get that within 20.
Yeah,
That
you're
gives
right.
us a couple days of talking, but
You're right. Yeah.
expect news from Sergen within 20 days. Because that's the same timeline we sent to Cordelia.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Seregen Jin marches on foot. We probably don't need to tell them that Seregen can't make it to the tear in a reasonable amount of time. I think he knows that.
Right. It's true.
I mean, I want to know what to look for in fighting demons, right?
That's yeah.
But I don't know how to ask that kind of question in a useful way.
Best weapons, I think, is broad enough.
Maybe best strategies.
Yeah, best strategies.
No
What's best
weaknesses.
practice?
What strategies seem to work against demons?
Yeah.
Say strategies and known weaknesses.
Demon weakness spoilers, please.
Any weaknesses? Let's count. Okay, got 3 more words. Any weaknesses to exploit? All right, what do y'all think of this?
We can help establish that intelligent point. Expect news from Seregen within 20 days. What strategies seem to work against demons? Any weaknesses to exploit?
For me,
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Roger. We'll send that off to Rift.
Here I go again. It's a two-way street, my friends. It's a two-way street. Um,
What I did when my players were writing lots of sending spells was to start drafting my response
I had
while
some.
they were saying out loud.
I
Yeah.
have some.
No, but there's no avoiding the like 3 or 4 minutes of downtime where you're like, okay, but they came up with a bunch of shit at the end that I now need to address.
Yep, that's it.
You just gotta pre-write a really small Mad Libs kind of thing. It's like I'm gonna need a noun and a verb, and
Oh, it's perfect when you're working with a recipient that it has zero respect for counting their words and isn't going to plan it out at all, because you can just rattle it off and count out while you're speaking and stop when you hit 25.
which does seem more realistic.
When you get somebody who is thoughtful and is going to take their time and produce a clean, crisp 25-word response, there's no way to do it quickly.
It's almost as if we should take pause before we speak in order to sound smart. Huh. Never thought of that before. I think realistically, if somebody sent you a message and you like, you're gonna imagine you had like a stalker ex boyfriend or girlfriend who was also like a wizard, just like texting you at all hours,
Oh
like, "Hey, babe,
no.
go away." It'll be like your response. Can you block somebody from sending?
Um,
Counterspelling it.
so in D&D, I will say there is a precedence of sort. When you cast a sending spell to the Mad Mage, it goes instead a I don't remember what it's called. Turn maybe. They're like these kind of like fiendish. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, they're these little guys. Axes.
You're breaking up again a bit.
That's probably for best.
I think I get the gist.
Yeah.
There are ways you can have like an anti-magic field or like
Yeah.
some kind of spell blocker.
Yeah.
You could probably a few things you could attune to that would turn it off for a while. Wait, so you can only send to someone you know ish, right? Can we send a message to Orcus since we are aware of what Orcus looks like and where they are, sort of?
Hmm. That's an interesting thought.
Although I'm not sure mind linking with any kind of evil like that would be wise, but we could.
Just send him like a mental image of in your base killing your dudes.
Yeah. All your base are belong to us.
Okay, I've got something. Blessed and radiant attacks, magical at least. Distance proves our biggest challenge, not theirs. Find that solution. I fear we'll need everyone.
Everyone. That's a lot of people.
He's not wrong. Distance is a big fucking challenge.
Yeah.
What you may have heard was a lot of people. What I said was, bring me all the people you have.
Very good.
All right. Well, we got help here. Don't know how much in the line of blessed and radiant attacks we have, but magical at least I think we can manage. Okay, and we have 3 scrolls of sending left, and we probably ought to save them.
We could use them to ask for more scrolls of sending, at least one.
Is this the whole you have 3 wishes? Okay, my first wish, I wish for more wishes.
Kind of.
If only sending spells actually gave us what we wanted.
It doesn't even always
Like-
get you the information you want.
Like the Queen of Necrata, like send back. It's like, hey, send more scrolls through the Marsupialis pouch, because
We don't have it. Remember?
oh yeah, we'd have to find. She'd have to.
We left it in the woods on purpose as part of our deal.
Yeah.
Well, time for a return trip.
Well, so I was just gonna say, I can obviously help with the radiant.
But can you though?
I mean, not for a distance aspect, but radiant magic, yeah.
For distance, I think something like teleportation magic is what we're going to want.
But like, is being a vampire and radiant magic is that like, is that kosher? Is that gonna work?
I mean, I don't know if I guess I have not necessarily tested the bounds here, but Ulrich would gladly test that out. You know, he's fine deed, which it is a spell. So
Well, but is it a spell? But does its intrinsic power come from one of the gods? And if so, has that? I don't know. There's just stuff to explore, right? You wouldn't. Yeah, Ulrich won't know until he tries.
as a paladin, yeah, comes my intrinsic from my devotion to the idea quest, which previously would have been, but Tolf is made into this.
You mean Tolu?
Tolu, sorry.
Yeah, Tolu, yeah, they sound similar.
Yeah, Tolu. But that said, Ulrich will very quickly, in this moment, think he'll just cast Spirit Shroud.
Oh, cast what?
Spirit Shroud.
Okay. Could you post that into the chat?
Yeah, sorry.
You're good. Oh wait, you're on phone, right? Okay, perfect. Call forth spirits of the dead which float around. Any attack you make deals an extra 1d8 damage. The damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold. Your choice. So, are you choosing radiant?
Radiant, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, when you cast the spell, radiant does envelop your weapon.
Yeah.
The color is slightly darker than your normal aura for radiant. It used to be the color of Zarek, and now it's a bit more on the a bit more orange. So it's just it's a bit brighter instead of its.
So your radiant just got more metal.
Because now he's representing in some way two gods, right? He's a
Right.
child of Tolu, while also worshipping Zarek.
Right.
Wow, only 10 more to go, and you'll be the ultimate spirit warrior.
I mean, he's already collected all 3 nations. Now it's time for the gods, I suppose.
Gotta catch them all.
He'll do a
All right. So, with that being said, does anybody have anything else before we end for tonight in that way?
Nope.
I think we're pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It was definitely an interesting one, a little bit different from normal. And also with that being said, we also tend to have things like spammers to ban. So there's that. So bye-bye. But thank you
What
for
about
joining
all the
us,
viewers?
everyone. Oh, go ahead.
What about all the viewers?
So thanks for joining us, everyone. We will be back, not in 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks I will be on another work trip. They keep scheduling it at the same time as my D&D plans. So we're going to be figuring that out. Does the 23rd work for folks, or do we need to continue to talk about that?
I think technically I'm fine for the 23rd. I'm looking at the calendar right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty free.
My schedule
good.
is, as always, wide open.
I think the
I
key
think I'm
one
good.
is. So you're good, Ulrich?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and what about Belzian? That's the key.
It's still a question mark. I can get back to you ASAP here.
Okay. So we question mark might be meeting on the 23rd, but if not, unfortunately we'll have to meet on the 30th. So we'll talk to you then, folks. We'll let you know in the Discord what's going on. But in the meantime, hopefully your travels are safe and well, and we'll see you when we see you. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great night. Bye.
Bye.